Hey there everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to Cinema Recap. Today we'll be taking a look at a 2019 action thriller movie called Miss Bala. An action movie that centers around Gloria, a makeup artist, whose life changes when she's dragged into a dangerous world of international crime. Spoilers ahead. Our story starts with Gloria, working in LA Fashion Week. Gloria is good at her job. She even has cool ideas for makeup looks and tries to pitch him to her boss, but he tells her to mind her own business. Typical Hollywood.
I'm paying you to think.
At the end of her workday, Gloria steals 2 cases of makeup from the set, stows them in her car, and drives down to Tijuana.
Suzu.
On the way, she calls up her friend Suzu, and we find out that Gloria is coming to Tijuana to help Suzu win a beauty pageant. Gloria makes it there and reunites with her friend. They've been friends for years, and their awkward childhood photos taped to the fridge prove it. As they catch up, we meet Chava, Suzu's precious little brother. Gloria gives him a cool gift, and his response is subtly insult her poor knowledge of Spanish. The next morning, Suzu registers for the pageant. Gloria practices those makeup looks she's dreamed up, and in the evening, they get dolled up and head to a swanky club. But it isn't just for fun. Suzu's there on a mission to butter up Chief Saucedo, the guy who finances the entire competition. As expected, he's a bit of a sleaze and harasses Gloria seconds after they meet. She's understandably grossed out and excuses herself, claiming she has to go to the bathroom. Now once there, she's in a stall, dreading to use that public toilet when she hears the vents crash to the floor. A team of thugs drop down into the bathroom. They find her, and one puts a gun to her head for a quick death, but he's intercepted by another guy named Lino, who seems to run the show. He goes through her stuff and checks out her passport and ID, and she's a complete mess, shivering, begging him not to kill her. So he lets her go. Back on the dance floor, Gloria is looking for her friend, but can't find her amidst the throng of people. Suddenly, thugs raid the place, firing into the air, while the club goers scream. Gloria runs outside, but refuses to keep running until she finds Suzu. She tries to call her, but she's not picking up. Now the ambulance and police arrive, fashionably late, but Gloria doesn't find Suzu in the body bags they tow out of the club either. She waits in a diner across the street, but come morning, her friend's still missing. Gloria calls Chava, inventing a lie to keep him from worrying about his sister. Well, she's not sure what to do next, but notices a cop car outside the diner and tells the patrolling officer about her friend. But he only replies that she needs to fill out a missing persons report back at the local station. And then she explains that she was present at the club shooting last night and saw the faces of the culprits, which piques his interest. He tells her to get into the car, but as they drive away to the station, she notices that the man has 2 radios. Not only that, but he stops at a hotel, stating that he needs to pick up his lunch, while Gloria, now suspicious of his true motives, waits in the car. And suddenly out of the hotel comes the thugs from the night before. They grab Gloria, stuff her into a different car, and drive to a strange place called Casa Rosita. There's girls lounging out by the pool, but there's also guys loading weapons into black vehicles. An older woman warmly meets Gloria and leads her into the house like she's an invited guest, chatting amiably about the house decor. She's led into a dark room where the head thug from the shooting, Lino Esparza, is waiting. He fashions the strap of her purse into a weapon and explains that if she answers any of his questions wrong, he's gonna hurt her. Lino wants to know first if she's associated with law enforcement, and she shakes her head. And then he asks why her Spanish is so bad. She explains about her American upbringing. Satisfied with the answers, he gives the purse back but keeps the ID. He also explains that he can help her find Suzu, but she'll have to do something for him first. Well, she agrees, and he pours them both a drink, while explaining that he too grew up in Cali. Gloria is forced into a car and given a radio for instructions. Lino and his guards follow in their own cars, running lights as she almost crashes trying to keep up. She's instructed to park the car on the curb next to a building, and when she does so, is picked up by the other 2 cars. They drive just a few streets away. Lino presses a button, and the car Gloria left detonates, blowing up the building next to it while all the men cheer. Well, she's horrified, realizing that she's an accomplice to murder and has really little time to process this, as Lino grabs her close and asks her what she was doing at the club the night before. She explains about the pageant, and he ends up making her register for it. She's stuttering that she was a makeup artist and not a contestant, but Lino doesn't care. He assigns her a guard and she's forced to go through with the registration. After photos are taken, Gloria goes to the bathroom with the guard following closely after. She locks the door, explaining that she just needs a little privacy, but actually goes to escape out the window. She spots an American, runs to him, crying that she's been abducted and needs help. As demonstrated with the corrupt officer from earlier, Gloria isn't a good judge of character, and the men she runs up to take her hostage. And the scene cuts to Gloria handcuffed to her chair in a dark room. And this American man is actually an agent with the DEA. He believes that Gloria is either working for Lino or dating him, and the car bombing was proof. Apparently, the building that Gloria helped blow up was a DEA safe house, and the 3 agents died. She's looking at charges of terrorism, murder, arson, unless she helps him. And he gives her a tracking chip to put into Lino's cell phone. And it doesn't look like she has a choice but to do as he asks. He drops her off on the street, hoping that Lino will find her again by tracking her phone when she turns it on. She heads straight to Suzu's house, but nobody's there, and she isn't ready to turn her phone on yet. She heads up to take a shower and finally get out of that club dress. And when she comes out of the bathroom, her phone isn't where she left it. She looks around, panicking until she hears Chava calling her name. Apparently, while she was showering, he was curious about that radio phone and turned it on. Lino calls immediately, and Gloria has no choice but to pick up. He gruffly warns her never to turn the phone off again before hanging up. Gloria tells Chava to pack up a bag and go to his Aunt Lupita's house, evading his questions about Zuzu. She heads downstairs to call a cab, but Lino suddenly appears out of the shadows, and he asks her why she ran away. And Gloria uses that excuse that Brian gave her, claiming that she just got scared. That's a flimsy excuse, but he believes it. A dozen of Lino's men file into the house. One's injured, and 2 others set that injured man down right on the dining table. Gloria tries stuttering out that it's not her house, but Lino makes her go back upstairs to the bedrooms. So, alone on her bed, Gloria pulls the tracking chip Brian gave out from her phone. It's in her hands when Lino's knocking at the door. She does a quick bra stuff just as he walks inside. He takes off his shirt, lies down on the bed like he owns it, and orders Gloria to take his shoes off for him, flashing his gun if she gets any ideas. Gloria does so without complaint, but is asking not to hurt Chava. Lino says he'll consider it, if she does as he says, and asks her to take off her clothes. After a second's hesitation, she does. However, a knock at the door saves her. Now, while Lino's called in for a brief discussion with the crew, Gloria takes the chip out the bra and puts it back into her phone. She's prepared for the worst, but when Lino comes back, he's tired and falls asleep immediately. Whew. The next day, stacks of money are taped to Gloria's torso, while even more stacks are packed into a car. She's told to drive to San Diego to a particular address for a weapons run. Now at this point, Gloria has accepted her fate, but begs Lino to let Chava leave. Chava's sent off in a taxi to his aunt's house, but one of Lino's men stays with him. If Gloria messes this up in any way, the guard threatens to gut Chava like a chicken. Gloria follows the GPS instructions to the border, terrified she'll get caught as the cars are being inspected. However, she makes it past easily and eventually ends up at some ramshackle building in San Diego. The trade goes smoothly enough, with Gloria asked to switch cars from the one that has all the money to another one that has weapons hidden inside. And just before she leaves though, a man named Jimmy tells her to relay a message to Lino. Apparently, Jimmy heard that the DEA has a mole in Lino's operation. What? The mole's obviously Gloria, but she just nods and promises to relay the message. Once out, Gloria calls Lino, who gives her the address she should return to in Tijuana, a bull ring parking lot. And after that, Gloria calls Brian, explaining that she's involved in a weapons trade, and gives him the address. He says he's going to set a team as soon as Gloria gets visual confirmation that Lino's on site. And she's concerned for her safety, but Brian assures her that he'll have a van ready on the other side of a yellow gate at the parking lot to pull her out. So Gloria drives back to Tijuana and makes it to the parking lot. She sees the yellow gates and tries to drive closer to him, but is intercepted by Lino's car. Pollo, the guard who threatened to gut Chava like a chicken, steps out first to check out that all the merchandise is in order. Brian and his team are positioned in a nearby building, watching the proceedings through the window. Gloria sends a text that confirms Lino's there, so the DEA busts the snipers out to take the shot. However, one of Lino's guards spots Brian and yells into his radio. The shot misfires, and the parking lot quickly turns into a shootout. DEA versus Lino's crew. Gloria runs to the yellow gates, but they're locked, and she peeks between them to the other side and realizes that Brian lied to her. There's no SWAT van waiting to save her. So she's pissed and calls Brian, but all he tells her is that she's on her own. Damn. Lino, on the other hand, dives into the crosshairs to save her, getting shot in the process. She could have kept going without him, but returns the favor and helps him up. Together, they scramble into a car and race out the lot. Lino has Gloria drive the vehicle to a safe house where Pollo and the others are waiting. Now, Pollo's ready to kill her, certain that she's the reason the DEA found him. But Lino tells him how Gloria saved his life. Pollo says that, she had to. And they end up getting into a fight until Gloria pipes in explaining what Jimmy said about the DEA mole. This new piece of information settles the argument, with Lino and Pollo assuming that there's a mole on their crew, but it's not Gloria. So later, Gloria helps bandage Lino's bullet wound and asks him about the DEA. He tells her that he used to run Tijuana, but guys like Saucedo and Brian are trying to wrestle control from him. Gloria tries to learn as much as she can, but Lino orders her to go help in the kitchen. So in the kitchen, she meets Isabel, another girl who's been abducted by Lino's crew. Oh, and they call themselves Las Estrellas, which translates to the stars. It's a bit of a weird name for a criminal cartel, but okay. Isabel explains that the cartel owns her and shows Gloria the tat on her hand shaped like a star. Pollo comes, takes Isabel away for some alone time, and Gloria uses that to move the tracker Brian gave her from the phone to another random one from a bag full of them. Now Lino wakes Gloria up the next morning, holding a gun, and he leads her outside, and Gloria is sure that this is the end for her. But apparently all he wants to do is teach her how to use it, so she can defend herself if she ends up in a shootout again. Sweet guy. Afterwards, Gloria's asking about Suzu, and Lino explains that he has someone working on it. They haven't discovered her in a hospital or a morgue, which means that at least she's still alive. Later that day, after Gloria showers, she finds a dress and some shoes waiting for her. It seems that Lino wants to take her out for a date, and they end up at a small local restaurant by the farm. And as they're eating tacos, Lino talks about his heritage and his plans for the future. It's a nice romantic scene. Anyways, when they get back to the safe house, Pollo announces that he's found the mole. Apparently, the phone that Gloria switched her tracker into was none other than Isabel's. She tries to stop it, but Lino has one of his goons lead Gloria away as he shoots Isabel in the head. Damn. Night falls on the safe house, and Gloria's refusing to talk to Lino. The next morning, the woman from Casa Rosita's here, armed with makeup and dozens of beautiful gowns. Apparently, Lino still wants Gloria to run for the beauty pageant. Well, Gloria finally snaps, refusing to participate and screaming, until Lino shows her a video on his phone of Suzu, lined up with several other girls. We find out Saucedo snatched up Suzu for his trafficking ring and is planning to auction her off. If you remember, Saucedo is chief of police, yet still so corrupt that even Lino wants this guy dead. And now so does Gloria. Now, winning the pageant will get Gloria entry into that after party. And once she gets Saucedo into a bedroom alone, Lino can take him out. Gloria agrees to help, but for Suzu's sake, and gets ready. The judges have all been bought, so Gloria just needs to play her part, pretending to act surprised when her name is called. Soon after her name is called, a man comes to ask if she'll attend that after party, and she accepts. Just before Gloria is escorted to the party, Lino arranges for her to receive a small earpiece, and now they can communicate. Car pulls up to a super fancy house where that party's already in full swing. Everywhere Gloria looks, men cavort with beautiful women in sparkling dresses, all part of Saucedo's trafficking ring. Her goal is to get him to invite her to his room. So when she does find him, she tries her best to flirt with him, a hard task given how old and gross he is. Well, she gets invited. But before she can go, Suzu walks in and the girls finally reunite. Suzu explains how she was stolen after the shootout, and we see the tat of a star branded on her hand. It's the same one Isabel had. And Gloria quickly realizes that Lino lied to her. Just then, his guards come to escort Gloria away, and she has no choice but to oblige. Saucedo goes to get her a drink, and Gloria uses that opportunity to write something on a piece of paper. And when he gets back, drink in hand, we find out Gloria's note was a warning, alerting him that Lino was coming to kill him. Meanwhile, Lino's crew creeps closer to the house, weapons at the ready. Saucedo leaves one of his men in the bed as a decoy just as Lino's crew attacks. Gloria slips under the bed to wait out the firefight, only coming out again when the men have moved on. She grabs a rifle from a dead body and heads downstairs to rescue her friend. Feeling all confident despite only learning how to use a gun 2 days ago, but that's cool. It's an action movie, so we'll let it slide. Out on the street, Saucedo and Los Estrellas fight it, amidst flaming vehicles and shrapnel. Saucedo grabs Suzu to use as a human shield, but Gloria shoots him in the ankle, forcing him to release her. Lino runs towards them and finishes the job, but then Gloria aims the gun at him too. Lino admits that he knew where Suzu was this whole time, explaining that it was something he had to do. He tries to take a step forward, sure that Gloria won't really shoot him. After all, they ate tacos together. Gloria's full of surprises, okay, because she pumps him full of bullets. And the police appear shortly after and arrest both girls. Suzu's thrown in jail while Gloria is sent in for interrogation. And when that officer walks in, we find out that it's Jimmy. That same Jimmy from the weapons run in San Diego. He's a lot more spruced up now, with a fancy suit instead of knives, and we find out that he actually works for the CIA. He has the note Gloria wrote alerting Saucedo, as well as some CCTV footage of her killing Lino. And you know what? Jimmy's impressed. Asks Gloria to work for him. Well, she agrees, but only on the condition that the charges are dropped against her and Suzu. Suzu's freed and escorted back to her house to be reunited with her little brother. Gloria, on the other hand, drives away with Jimmy. From makeup artist to hostage to CIA agent. Not too shabby. And that wraps it up. Thanks for sticking with us on Miss Bala, produced in 2019 by Columbia Pictures. Why don't you let us know what you think with the hashtag #CinemaRecap in the comments. Till next time.